Shabbos I touched on the point she did about the relationship between Yaakov and Yosef. Yosef in Chumash is a unique character. Besides the uniqueness of his experiences, of his being separated from his brothers, and being the only one of the Shvatim that has such a dramatic story, which take up Sedris. He's one of 12 children. He gets a few Sedris all by himself. The Gemara says, the most yukna shel Yosef k'mayankiv, that Yosef, his appearance, his face, he looked like his father exactly. What does the Gemara mean? What is the Gemara coming to tell us? That they looked alike. That's not the point of the Gemara. Also, there is a peculiar incident in Chumash. Yosef is not one Shevet between 12 Shvatim. His children become Shvatim. Ephraim and Menashe. You learn Chumash maturely. You know, it's important, parenthetically. There's a very great Ovid Hashem once said that our knowledge of the Chumash and of the Tanakh is comparable. Sometimes, unfortunately, you see a person, a grown person, a mature person, a fully mature person, his whole body is mature, except one hand he has like a little baby. There are such things, unfortunately. He says, we learn Chumash in grade school, we become acquainted with the characters of Chumash in grade school, and we never delve further into the Chumash to understand the Chumash, and we remain with our childhood impressions about Avraham, and Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and the story of Joseph and his brothers, and we never maturely try to understand what the Torah is telling us. Here in the character of Yosef, we see such peculiar. What is it? What is this Yosef? Who is it? What is it? What does it mean to us? There's such blatant peculiarities. Let's go to this week's comments, Shabbos Seder. Here in the Seder too, there are peculiar things. Viyachi Yankiv be'eretz Mitzrayim shvayas rishon. Yankiv lived in Mitzrayim 17 years. The word Viyachi, many of the commentators take notice of it, is very out of place. It sticks out like a sore thumb. In the parlance, in the style of the Tanakh, of Chumash, it should have said, Vayehi Yankiv be'eretz Mitzrayim shvayas rishon. He was in Mitzrayim 17 years. What do you mean, Vayechi? He lived. It's a very strong, it's a strong terminology. What does that mean? Then the Chumash in this week's Seder begins to talk that Yankiv Vayikrevu Yemei Yisrael Lavus. He saw that his strength was giving out. He saw he was dying. He was an old man. So he was dying. What happens? He calls his son Yosef to come to him. What do you want? He says to him, do me a chesed be'emes. He requests of his son, I'm going to ask you a special favor. Do not bury me in Mitzrayim. Bury me with my father, Yitzchak and Avram, and take me out of Mitzrayim. So, what should be the response? The response should be yes or no. So the Chumash does not suffice with that. Vayomer, Hishavali, his son Yosef. And he knew who Yosef was. For 17 years, he was close to Yosef in Mitzrayim. He saw Yosef's ruchnistic strength. He saw his spiritual strength, how he withstood everything that was around him. So it would, to our minds, if Yosef would have said yes, it would suffice. So he says, Hishavali, to swear. And that's peculiar. You tell a person to swear when you don't trust him. What do you mean swear? Swear. Vayishavali. He swore. He took an oath. I'll take you out of Mitzrayim. What does the pasuk say right after that? Vayishtachu Yisrael al Rosh Hamikdash. He went and he bowed down towards the head of the bed. Ya'akov, sick man, old man, took after he swore to him, got up, got down on his knees, and he bowed down towards the head of the bed. That is odd. Rashi and the Chazal dwell on this oddity. What is this bowing down business? The Rosh Hamikdash. What is this? He bowed down towards the head of the bed. So Rashi, in the last Lashon, this is Gemara. So Rashi says, he bowed down to the head of the bed, Shahoyasa mitosai shleima. After Yosef swore to him, Yaakov came to a recognition, to an insight that his bed is whole. What do you mean your bed is whole and not whole? Loihoya barasha. All his children were tzaddikim, they were not rishayim. Shahara Yosef melech hoya. Yosef was a king in a strange and an alien country. The oy and more. Shenishbala bein hagoyim. Yosef was captured and sold as a slave between strange nations. V'harayim in B'tzidkai. And he remains in his righteousness, in his piety, in his tzidkis. And Yosef is a full son of Yaakov amongst the Shvatim. He did not lose Yosef. So therefore, this is the meaning that he bowed down to his bed. That from him, his children are all whole. All his 12 children. Very nice. What does it have to do with his swearing? What does this have to do? In the Chumash, it's it follows directly after the Shvuah. Vayomer hishavali, vayishavaloi, vayishtachu Yisrael, vayishamita, after he swore. What is the connection between this and the Shvuah? His observation that his children are tzaddikim. What does this have to do with the Shvuah? He observed that Yosef was a tzaddik before this. And Rashi enumerates what his sitkis was, that he was a king, and he grew up between Goyim, and he remained a tzaddik. What does it have to do with the Shvuah? Chumash is not a storybook. Maise Ovi similar bonim. In Chazal it says, with a tremendous disdain for a person who looks at the Chumash as a storybook. So what is it? The Chumash speaks, Maise Ovi similar bonim, the Chumash is the plan for Klal Yisrael. It's the plan book. I don't want to say the word because I don't mean it, and that's it, the ideology. I don't mean the ideology. I mean the idea-ology. It's the machshava shel Yisrael. It's the amitius of Knesset Yisrael. 1 minute, I'll explain what I'm saying. There are infinite ideas and thoughts in the universe. There are astronomers that can tell you today things about black holes in the cosmos. I don't even know what they're talking about. That can tell you about antimatter. I don't even know what it means. And it's not relevant to me. There are infinite machshavas, but there are machshavas that are absolutely relevant. I must know them. There are thoughts, there are ideas that I must know, and if I don't know them, I'm a distortion, I'm grotesque. There are ideas floating around that a person must know. Someone brought me a book tonight with a picture of a little baby on the cover. A little baby. Baby's not even wearing anything. A little top. And the name of the book is Your Child's Self-Esteem. And on the back cover, the reviews are raving. Raving! Every parent and every teacher and every psychiatrist must have this book. It's a textbook. I peruse through the book. What is it? Columbus discovered America. That a child must have self-esteem. You cannot batter verbally a child. You cannot neglect a child. You cannot ignore a child. A child is a tender little plant, you hear? And they say, have a hand. This is not just verbiage. These thoughts are more important than vitamins for your child. You must know this. If you don't know this, and if you don't imbue your child with a proper amount of self-esteem, your child will be distorted until the last day of its life. Understand it. You think people know it? People don't know it. People don't know it. I would venture to say 9 out of 10 people do not relate to this thought. They do not dynamically and organically relate to this thought. It does not possess their minds. Children are brought up without a self-esteem. I give you an example of self-esteem. So a person comes in 1980 and writes a book, Columbus discovered America. You must give a child self-esteem. Some people that knew it before. But what you see from this is, people, I give you a mushroom, the mushroom is very important. There are thoughts in the universe. There are machshavas that a person must have it. And if you don't have it, it's proportionate to the amount that you don't have the proper thoughts in your head, and the proper attitudes in your head, that much you live in self-deception and in sheker. The Jews, in the Torah, there's a mystery called Golus. There's a mystery called Golus. We spoke about it Shabbos. Diaspora. DPs. Displaced persons. DPs. We have been DPs for a good few thousand years. How do you survive? There has to be a secret for survival. Anyone who thinks that the Jews survived as a people without some mysterious ingredient is a fool and ignoramus and very shallow. Very, very shallow. There's a secret. There's a deep, deep, deep secret that preserves us and will preserve us. And it's not a Madison Avenue secret. It's not a secret from the universities. It's an eternal truth. It's an eternal truth. The Torah comes to speak about the beginning of the Golus. When Yaakov Avinu was about to die, and the acid, the corroding acid of the Golus is beginning to pour itself out. The Torah begins to speak about the secret of existence in Golus, survival in diaspora. The Torah says, "Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim." Yaakov Avinu lived in Eretz Mitzrayim. Vayechi Yaakov. The pasuk stresses that he lived with all his strength. There was life in Mitzrayim for 17 years. Who was he? If you learn, and you should learn, you know that each one of the patriarchs, each one of the others, put the cornerstone in Klal Yisrael. Avram Avinu, if you study about Avram Avinu, you learn his midah was chesed. Chesed. That was a cornerstone. Yitzchak Avinu's midah was gevurah. Yire Pachat. And Yaakov Avinu's midah was Emes, a bandied about word. Very few people know what it means. Emes, truth. Yaakov Avinu, it says in the pasuk, Titein Emes liYaakov. Yaakov Avinu had an affair with Emes. His whole affairs were around Emes. Titein Emes liYaakov. He incorporated the talents and the genius of his father and his grandfather, and he created an Emes, and the word Emes is Aleph Mem Tav, a beginning and middle and end of the alphabet. Emes. You can't imagine what it means to live with Emes. I tell you, when I speak about myself, I'm first online. We do not know what it means to live with it. There is so much sheker in our lives. There is so much, let me not say sheker, let me choose a more genteel word. There's so much spuriousness in our lives, in every aspect. Not that I mean that when we speak to each other, we tell each other lies. I don't mean that. I mean in our Weltanschauung, in our attitudes towards the world, in our existence, there is so much which is spurious. We do not know. We're under a mountain of spuriousness. You read a book. None of you heard about the book. It pays to read it. I can't read it more than 10 pages at a time. I can't read it. That book about the fellow in Russia, Subota, I don't know how to pronounce it. Subota. I read the book. The man, I can't believe it. I don't believe it. I believe it. A man clung to a spark of Emes with such strength. I believe the story, but where did he get the strength? I have a problem with the book. Here I have an answer. Where did he get the strength? Where did he get the strength? What's the psychological, the spiritual strength to wear a beard and pay in Siberia? The head of the camp told us, you're crazy, you want to keep Shabbos. Okay. Yeah. I couldn't figure it out. For myself, I have to digest what went on in this man's head. What was in his head? And then I figured it out. Somehow, this man had a gaze upon Emes. In his life, the centrality of his life, the core of his vision was on something which is true. If you take our existence, the things that bother us negatively, the things that excite us, it's fun. It's not. Our gaze is not. We are frustrated and we are confused quickly. This man was not confused and not frustrated. There was no confusion in him. The man was cool, calm and collected. How it happened, I don't know. But what was in his head? He saw something in such darkness, in such abysmal darkness. He saw something in the darkness, and that sustained him, and that fueled him. Nefesh Chaya means, the word nefesh, which we say soul. You know what the word nefesh, soul? Soul, right? The word nefesh means will. In Yeshus Nafshecha, Ladas. The word nefesh means will. His will was organic, it was alive. His will, our will, our will functions on a very dim. We don't know what will is. Our will is buried on who knows under what. Our will. Subsequently, the whole structure, our whole stature, all the dimensions of it. The nefesh is will. Nefesh Chaya means a will which is alive, totally alive. Will, Russian. Viyechi Yankiv the Eretz Mitzrayim with the Midas Emes. That's about the story. You'll know what the Egyptian civilization was. The Chazal. Today we know what we have fragments of what Egypt was. What do you think they were, barbarians? A subtle, complex systems, attitudes, pseudo-theologies, poetry, literature, technology, economy, empire. Come a few shepherds with the sheep in another land of Goshen and gobbled up in 2 minutes. If they learned the Chumash, where was it? 17 years he was already in Mitzrayim. And the Ya'akov Eretz Mitzrayim, Ya'akov Avinu survived with the midas of Emes because he was a nefesh chaya. His relationship with Emes was totally alive. Do this. Wait a minute. Ya'akov Avinu sees he's dying. He's dying. 12 sons are here. In himself, he was a whole man. Ish tov. Ya'akov Avinu went through experiences with Esav and with Lova. Man, saw battle. Ya'akov Avinu's in the land of Mitzrayim. Find what's going to be with what they established. Yaakov, Yitzchak, Avram, what's going to become of that clarity, that connection to Emes in the universe, that Emes which relates to the Tzuras Adam, what's going to become of it? What's going to be? He calls Yosef. Take me out of Mitzrayim. Thank you. He says, swear to me. Swear. You know what the significance of a shvua is? The whole concept in the Torah of a shvua relates to the will. You can will and you cannot will. You can will to do something and you can will not to do something. And the will can be wishy-washy. You can fluctuate and vacillate. Shvua is, when you say, I swear, you're putting a bias on your koiches. You create to yourself a reality, it must be so. Ya'akov Avinu said to Yosef, take me out. Take me and whatever I represent out of here. This is not our place. Take Vayechi Ya'akov out of here. Swear. Tell me whatever I created is irrevocable. It's a reality. Swear to me. Sure you are tzaddik. I knew before you were tzaddik. Now I'm leaving. You've got to take over everything. Whatever Avram and Yitzchak and Ya'akov created wasn't a test to it. It was a test. The reality of it began with Yosef. He said to him, swear to me you take me out of here. We don't remain here. We remain undiluted. We can't mix. Take my bones out of here. swore to him and created an irrevocable reality. It's going to be so. So Yankov Avinu got up and bowed down to the bed. He said, Mitosi Shleima, it's complete. It has been actualized. It's an irrevocable reality. And Yosef became like a semi-art. The Gemara says, Ein koirin la'ovis ala shloisha. The only title of other patriarch is 3, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yankov. But Yosef is a nebulous. He's like in between. You see, his children are shvatim. Because Yosef was the one that he took whatever the others created, and he actualized it and brought it into reality as an irrevocable existence. This it exists. The interesting thing, Rashi says, another peculiar thing, that Rashi says that he wanted to be Megala the Kates. Yankov Avinu wanted to be Megala the Kates, the Mister. He wanted to say when Mashiach is coming. The question that every person has to ask is, who needs to know that? What do you mean he wanted to say when Mashiach is coming? Do we need to know that? Of what significance is that? Why did he want? In Titan Emes LeYankov, in Yankov Avinu's relationship to Emes, he wanted to say and expose the mirage of a Golus, the ultimate mirage. The Golus is here, it's drowning us. It's crushing us. It's mutilating us. You'll accept that it's a reality. In the Titan Emes LeYankov was so thorough and so complete until the end, till the very end. He wanted to be Megala the Kates. There's no Golus in his Titan Emes LeYankov. This is enough. That father worship is the left. That's the Midas Emes of Yaakov Avinu. For us, it's an avoided to see the Emes. It's hard. What I'm talking about is very hard work. To hear the Emes, that we should relate to the Emes without idiosyncrasies. To stand before the Emes and become attached to it and let the Emes shape us. Vaychi Yankov, that we should. This is our survival. And every little thing. We have so many, it is so much to stand before the Emes, to let the Emes shape us, and not that we're shaping the Emes. This is the secret of survival. It's in a home. To have a hachnor, to have a humility for the Emes, to be able to hear the Emes, Kabbalas Emes, I tell you, I don't know if I'm understood. I'm always wearing back clothes. My mind is always in the back. I look where we're living, what we're living, how we're doing, where we're doing, how we have to raise our children, how we have to bring up our families. It's a war. We're torn. It's a war. And for a person to grow in Yiddishkeit, it's only by Yechi Yankov, Veretz, and Israel, what makes sense. To stand before the Emes, to ask, Rebbeinu, give me koyach to recognize my Emes. I'm not talking about the Chazon Ish's Emes. His Emes, his glorious, his magnificent, beautiful Emes. The Emes that relates to me, my next little step. I can't hear it. Growth in Yiddishkeit is on how much. It's not the next. How much Emes? How much Emes? The littlest thing in the Emes. For a person who's serious-minded in Yiddishkeit, you have to know yourself, what is my relationship with them? It's not solid, it's fluid, it always has to be a trusted thing. This is how you survive, it goes. And no one here is. Don't rock the boat. I'm doing my thing. I'm doing this fashion, that fashion, the other fashion. I spoke to somebody this week. The person says to me, uses a phrase to me. The phrase was created by Neuer. The phrase was created by derelicts, human derelicts, people who have no respect, not for masculinity, not for femininity. This person, religious person, using a phrase, no language that's a phrase that was considered. I said to myself, I told the Rebbe, I said, that those people that decide with a resolution just to speak Jewish, I understand them. I understand them. Look, we are using phrases. We are using phraseology that shapes our attitudes, that shapes our mind, which will shape our children, which will shape our homes, that perverts use it, created the whole concept. We're not conscious of it. It's corroding us. You think it's a joke. You could think, what is he saying? A word, now it's a word. I remember I must have been 20 years old. I was sitting by my Rebbe Zilzangizun at his table. I was talking and I said something. He gave a chunk. Never use that phrase again. Explain to me why not. I didn't say anything wrong. Nothing off color, chas v'shalom, nothing. It was a harsh phrase. Never use that. I was young, I didn't understand what he meant. Later I grew older, I began to think into the psychology of language, what language does to a person, how a language shapes a person, how language refines a person, or makes a person coarse. Go talk to somebody. I'll go talk to, it's crazy. It's crazy that she talk Jewish. What does he want to have? Williamsburg here, we talk Jewish. We have to think. We are using terminology that was created who knows in which slimy swamp. Which sick mind. The terminology is in there, everybody. So, people who are serious about Yiddishkeit struggle with this. It hurts me. I came home, I said I made a mistake. We should have spoken Yiddish, and that's all. I could change it. I'm not advocating anything here. I'm nothing practical. I'm trying to tell you where I myself saw a slither of Emes, and I have to stand before it and deal with it. You know why? Because I'm afraid that in 5 years, the Rosh should give us credit. I'll give it to the Russians on my people. Not only the question of language. If we want to be earnest, we go to establish it only with the meaning of earnest. Our self-esteem for the earnest. Not to wash the earnest away with spurious thinking. Yaakov spoke to Yosef, and he said, you've got to create an Emes is irrevocable. Read his book. That man was irrevocable. That man, to him, the truth was irrevocable. They'll kill me. But they didn't kill him like a whimpering little beast. They couldn't kill him. It was a rotten high. A rotten. Only for Emes. You couldn't if you were wishy-washy. That's greatness. Viyachi Yankov. To me, this is to see the Emes. And what else happened to me? I was sitting on television in the airport. Don't say it loud. I don't want to say anything against Jews. It was a Chamsin. It was a Chamsin. Chamsin is a heat wave. Happens in Israel. It's terribly hot. The waiters are walking around. The maitre d' was wearing shorts, with the khaki shorts. And I was with the big Rav. We were waiting for a plane. It was very, very hot. And there were a lot of people sitting, but we were sitting in the cafeteria by the tables, and this Rav was very, very hot. So I told him, look, why don't you take off your kapot? We have an hour to sit here. It's terrible. Takes off his kapot. Let's see how he sits this. The manager comes over. Tell him to put on his jacket. You walk around, you uncouth barbarian, you walk around with an open shirt and short pants, and you say, I jumped off the chair. Well, what do you think? He wasn't a bad person. Let's see. And they were going there, and it's an airport, and it's fancy, and it's this, and it's that. How can you... See, you don't see that this man is... There's a blatant, this happened to me, and it goes down the line. We're ashamed. We're timid. We don't see what our principles, the Emes that we advocate. We don't see it. It's not irrelevant by us. You see the telescope, you got paranoid hysteria. With somebody there it is. When we have to think of building families, children, it has to be only with our connection with the thoughts, the nitzchiistic, the eternal thoughts that relate to us as Jews. That's why that's the shur that I told Yosef. It's irrevocable. It doesn't really exist.